Alex Eala's Cincinnati Open run has come to a controversial end. And if the events surrounding this match are anything to go by, Filipino tennis fans have every reason to be furious. Alex Eala appeared to have the momentum, confidence, and game needed to take down Amanda Anisimova, especially after producing a stunning first set that put her opponent under enormous pressure. But then everything began to change. Questionable calls, disputed points, and a bizarre situation involving an alleged energy drink during the break created a storm of controversy around the match. While there is no official confirmation that the officials deliberately tried to help Anisimova, from Eala's perspective, and from the perspective of many frustrated fans, it certainly looked like one thing after another was going against the Filipino star. And that is why this match has sparked so much discussion. Because Eala was not simply beaten by an opponent who suddenly discovered another level. She had to deal with moments that appeared to interrupt her rhythm at exactly the wrong time. Remember how this match started. Alex Eala came out looking fearless. There was no hesitation and no sign that she was intimidated by Anisimova. Eala attacked the ball, moved her opponent around the court, and played with the confidence of someone who genuinely believed she belonged at this level. The first set was a statement. Eala was controlling the rallies, finding the lines, and forcing Anisimova into uncomfortable positions. Every time Anisimova attempted to establish rhythm, Eala seemed to have an answer. The Filipino sensation looked completely locked in. And then came one of the first controversial moments. During a critical rally, Eala appeared to hit a ball that, according to the scenario surrounding the match, was clearly inside the line. The mark seemed to support her argument, and the trajectory appeared to indicate that the ball had landed in. But the call came out.
Yeah, 15-40, right? If it's correct. Can you please look at that? Look at it.
The stadium reacted. Eala reacted. Even Anisimova reportedly appeared surprised by what had happened. Now, mistakes happen in tennis. Linespeople are human, and even officials can get calls wrong. But the controversy became much bigger because of what happened afterward. Instead of simply allowing the point to stand, the officials reportedly decided to replay the point. That is where Eala's frustration began to boil over. Imagine being in the middle of an intense rally, playing some of the best tennis of your life, and then suddenly having a crucial point interrupted by an officiating decision. You have to reset mentally, forget what just happened, and somehow reproduce the same level of intensity. That is not easy, especially when you already believe the decision was unfair. Eala reportedly approached the officials and made it clear that she was not satisfied. She pointed toward the evidence and wanted the decision reviewed. And this is where fans saw something important about Alex Eala. She did not simply walk away. She challenged the decision. She wanted an explanation, and she wanted the officials to look at what had actually happened. According to the scenario presented here, the decision was eventually reviewed and reversed, with the point having to be retaken. But think about the psychological impact. Even if the officials eventually corrected the decision, the damage to the momentum may already have been done. Tennis is a sport where momentum is everything. 1 minute you are flying, and the next minute you are standing around waiting for officials to make a decision. Your concentration is interrupted, your emotions rise, your opponent gets time to breathe, and suddenly the match feels completely different. That is exactly why controversial officiating can become such a huge talking point in tennis. It is not necessarily about saying that every bad call is intentional. It is about understanding what repeated interruptions can do to a player psychologically. And Eala was clearly fighting against more than just Anisimova. She was fighting to maintain her concentration, fighting to maintain her rhythm, and fighting against the frustration building inside her. The situation reportedly became even more heated when Eala once again appealed to the officials. She pointed toward the mark and demanded that they properly examine the evidence. The atmosphere became tense, and instead of simply seeing this as a passionate player defending her point, the situation reportedly turned into another source of frustration. From Eala's perspective, this was not drama. This was her match. This was her opportunity, and she believed she had every right to demand that the officials get the calls right. But then came another controversial moment that completely changed the conversation. The match had already gone beyond an hour, and the physical intensity was becoming obvious. Both players were being pushed to their limits. Then, during the break before the deciding set, Anisimova was allegedly allowed to consume what appeared to be an energy drink, and this is where fans started asking serious questions. Was it permitted? Was it officially approved? Was it simply a normal drink that was allowed under the tournament rules? Or was there something about the situation that should have been questioned by the officials? To be absolutely clear, the claim that Anisimova was cheating by drinking an unauthorized beverage is speculative here. Without official evidence confirming that the drink violated tournament rules, nobody can responsibly say that she cheated. But the perception created by the moment was damaging. From the outside, Eala appeared to be battling through the physical intensity of the match, while Anisimova seemed to receive a boost during the break. And when Anisimova came back onto the court, she looked different. She had found her footing, her shots became more aggressive, her movement improved, and her confidence returned. Suddenly, the player who had struggled badly in the first set was back in the match. For Eala, that had to be incredibly frustrating. She had worked so hard to establish control. She had taken the first set, created pressure, and forced Anisimova to fight for every point. Then, as the match became more complicated, that advantage began disappearing. This is where the controversy becomes bigger than one drink or one line call. It becomes about momentum. Eala had momentum. Then the interruptions started, the questionable calls appeared, the arguments with officials happened, and the rhythm was broken. Anisimova found her way back into the contest. Was that because the officials deliberately wanted Anisimova to win? There is no confirmed evidence proving that. But if you are an Eala fan watching everything unfold, it is understandable why the frustration would be enormous. Because from that perspective, it looked like every important moment was going against her. And this is not the first time Eala has faced controversy surrounding officiating. Fans will remember the previous situation involving Eala and Iga Swiatek, when Eala was pushing toward what could have been one of the biggest upsets of her career. According to the scenario surrounding that match, there was also an issue involving an allegedly prohibited item in Eala's bag. The important part of that controversy was that the item was allegedly not even being used by Eala. Yet the situation created another interruption at a critical moment. That is why some Eala fans are now connecting the two incidents. They are asking why these controversies seem to appear when Eala is making a breakthrough, and why she repeatedly has to fight against distractions when she is already battling world-class opponents. Again, none of this proves that officials are deliberately targeting Eala. But tennis fans are allowed to question officiating. Players are allowed to demand consistency. And Eala is absolutely entitled to be frustrated when she believes a call has been handled incorrectly. What makes this especially painful is that Eala had already shown that she could beat Anisimova on the court. She was not being dominated, and she was not simply hanging on for survival. She was taking control. That first set demonstrated exactly what Eala is capable of when she is playing freely. The problem was that she could not maintain that advantage once the match became increasingly chaotic. Eventually, Anisimova completed the comeback. But here is the part Eala fans should remember. One controversial match does not define Alex Eala. One defeat does not erase her progress, and one tournament does not determine her future. If anything, this kind of match can become another lesson for a young player who is rapidly learning how to handle the biggest stages in tennis. Eala is discovering that elite tennis is not just about forehands, backhands, serves, and movement. It is also about controlling your emotions when things go against you. It is about staying focused when an official makes a mistake. It is about refusing to allow a controversial call to occupy your mind for the next 5 games. And that may ultimately be the biggest lesson from Cincinnati, because Eala has already demonstrated that she can compete with players ranked far above her. She has already demonstrated that she can create pressure against established stars. And she has already demonstrated that when she finds her rhythm, she can make the tennis world pay attention. So yes, the ending hurts. Yes, the officiating controversy will be discussed. Yes, the alleged energy drink situation will raise questions among fans. And yes, Eala has every reason to be disappointed after watching a match that she appeared to have under control slip away. What we can say is that the combination of disputed officiating, interruptions, and a momentum shift created an extremely controversial ending. And that is why Eala fans are angry. They do not believe their favorite player got the clean, uninterrupted opportunity she deserved. They watched her dominate the opening stages, challenge questionable decisions, and then watch the momentum change. Eventually, they watched Anisimova complete the comeback. But if there is one thing Eala fans should remember, it is this. Alex Eala is not going to stay down. This loss can hurt, It can frustrate her, it can motivate her, but it can also make her stronger. The next time she walks onto a major court, she will know exactly what it feels like to have momentum disappear because of circumstances outside her control. And the next time she gets that opportunity, she can be even more prepared to fight through it. So maybe the biggest story coming out of Cincinnati is not simply that Alex Eala lost. Maybe it is that she showed once again that she belongs. She pushed Anisimova, controlled the first set, challenged the officials, and refused to quietly accept decisions she believed were wrong. Even after everything went against her, she kept fighting. That is what Eala fans should take away from this. Because opponents can beat Alex Eala. Bad calls can disrupt her. Pressure can test her. But none of that means her journey is over. If anything, this is another chapter in the rise of one of the most exciting young players in tennis. And if the tennis world thought Cincinnati was going to break Alex Eala, they may want to think again. Because every setback has the potential to create an even more dangerous version of the player who comes back next. And Alex Eala's comeback story may have just gained another chapter.